Third, I have a question, Bob Sink.
That's from
In my own inner work, how can I best create a container, be a container of safety that other people, friends or strangers, uh, can uh, be able to, where I create the container for them to open?
uh, I don't understand your question, Bob. Just repeat it, and maybe
Okay. Um, I'd like to uh, be as open and kind and respectful uh, when I meet friends as strangers. And um, and I suspect that there are ways that uh, I can nurture that uh, that container to receive them.
so.
So is that making sense?
Yeah, look, for the billionth time here, if you develop the chakra system in yourself, your mind is quiet, your heart is open, your throat is open, you're centered in the chakra below that you build that inner life for yourself. And I said you will automatically approach people with consciousness. Your very chemistry, by being open, doesn't have to build any kind of wall around itself. You will approach, but you will tune into exactly how you have to talk to each and every human being and not try to, convince them what you do and you don't do. But there are some people, all you can talk about is baseball, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's their level of life. And instead of trying to convince them that Kundalini Yoga is God's gift to man, talk about baseball. Be kind to them. Don't look down, condescend on them because their level of life is different than your level of life. Now, you don't have to build a wall around yourself. You don't have to build some kind of cocoon around yourself. You just have to build an inner system that is strong enough to do that. Then you will automatically attune yourself to every single human being that comes into your life and to be able to treat them, you know? I mean, I hate to say it, it's like that T-shirt, that we're gonna put out. I mean, it says, I don't know, I forgot what it even says, but it says something to the effect that I like the people that I don't even like. And I like them, because they make me go deeper inside myself. It's something to that. That's paraphrasing it. You understand? And when you arrive at a place like that in yourself, even the people you don't like, you are strong enough to like because they are making you work much harder on yourself than people that are easier to get along with. So you don't build a cocoon, you just build an inner life. And it's not a cocoon, it's not a cell, it's just you being strong enough to function in the world. I, I had that the other day. I bought a painting from an auction house in New York, and I went down there and to pick it up. And there was a guy there, and I mean, he was so nice to me, this guy, and he couldn't do enough to help me get the painting, bring the painting to the car. I mean, and ordinarily, I don't suspect he treats people that way. He was very gruff. He was very, but it was amazing. It was the chemistry that touched something in him, and that's the way you got to function in the world. So it's not trying to build a shell around yourself. You develop an inner life that is strong enough that can communicate to people on whatever level they are ready to communicate on, not where you want them to be, and never condescending and thinking, oh, they're a bunch of schmucks and they're this and that. You know, they're human beings. They have something to teach all of us, every single one of us. I remember Rudy took me apart one day. I mean, I was working for a guy who had rented a space in one of Rudy's buildings. He was a very famous photographer, and he wanted to put in a gallery. And he hired me to, fix the place. And I was working there, and he was impossible, this guy. He was a very difficult guy. And I remember sitting at the table with Rudy, and Rudy started talking about him. And, he's a great photographer. He's this. It's great to have him in the building. And I said something negative about the guy, and it really pissed Rudy's off. He said, "This guy is employing you. He's feeding you. You know, find something you like about him. Let him teach you how to go deep enough in yourself so you can turn around this thing that irritates you in you about him." I mean, it was an incredible lesson for me. And it took years to learn how to do that. But it's a blessing to know how to do that. And it all depends upon the development of your chakra system, your inner life, and your ability to see that every person that comes into your life is there to teach you something about yourself. And it's much easier to put people down than to find out what they are teaching you about yourself. My first t-shirt. And it's kind of a nice way to live, because it's a way to live where you're not at odds with anybody. And yeah, people come with craziness and stuff, and you got to be strong enough inside yourself to be able to transform it into something that is teaching you how to go deeper inside yourself. I mean, that's the only answer I have to that, Bob. And there are enough crazy people in the world, that spend us learning about ourselves till the day we leave we leave the world. There are enough people that are tense and, angry and upset and prejudiced and racist and xenophobes and et cetera in the world that could make you crazy unless you take whatever they're teaching you, whatever they're telling you inside yourself, and use it to learn how to develop your humanity. And then you don't have to build anything around you. You don't have to have some wall, some little nest that you're comfortable and safe in. You're alive. It's just the world. And it's great to live that way, I think. It takes so much of a weight off of us. And that's one of the great byproducts of doing the kind of inner work that we do. It builds that in a human being. I bought a very nice Japanese painting, and the guy asked me, "Do you collect Oriental art?" I said, "No, no. I was in the business for 30 years in New York. I had galleries." And he said, "Oh my God." And it opened him up even more. He learned something about me, a guy he had never met before. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you, sir. That was a great answer.
You're welcome, Bob. You're welcome.
I have a question, Stuart. In your story was wonderful, and my question is, how do we know when that kind of person, we just need to learn from them, and even
No,
though we might not like it?
look, let's start with your premise. You don't know.
Okay.
Because to know means that you're taking it in your head, you're analyzing the situation, it fits into what your sense of rightness is, you know, and if you know, it's not about knowing, it's about living. It's about being alive in the moment and responding to what life gives to you with an open heart, learning from life, not having to know. I mean, I say it all the time, I've been doing this meditation for, God knows, forever. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know. It has created a person who can live in the world, who can respond to what people give me, who can find something inside another human being that they don't even know they have, that enables me to learn something from them about myself without knowing. Because if I begin to know, then I'm taking it into my opinion of life, what I think about life, and life doesn't work that way. Life has its own logic, its own way of functioning and manifesting. And you can only build a system inside that is strong enough to allow you to be part of that flow of energy of life and to learn from it. But it's not to know, because who knows? Who knows what goes on in the world? Who knows what goes on in the Middle East, what goes on in the Ukraine, and all these crazy people, and now Russia bombs going off in their, in their theaters. The only answer after that is, look, they, I mean, well, I don't know, never mind. Never mind. So you don't know. You you be. And you can't be if you're not focused, if you're not centered, your heart isn't open, if your mind isn't quiet, you haven't really attained the level of inner development that enables you to let any person that ever comes into your life to be your teacher. And then if they're your teacher, you bow to them. Even if they teach you crap, it's stuff you learn that you don't want to have in your life. So you bow to them. You thank you. You don't have to fight with them. It's a different way of approaching the world than we're taught. We're taught from the earliest ages we have to be right. And then there's all this conflict in life, and families and friendships and politics, economics, the people that are at each other's throats all the time because one person's idea of the world is better than another's. Well, they think so. And nobody listens to anybody else. That's really one of the major problems. And none of that stuff is possible if you don't develop a system inside that is strong enough to do it. And that's, this is what this meditation is all about. I say it all the time. It's not about, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God. And, it's about developing one's humanity, because you can't have a spiritual life until your humanity is developed. And your humanity will never get developed if you can't listen to other people, if you can't learn from them. Does anyone else? I hope that's clear.
Thank you, Stuart. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be meditation tomorrow evening. Thank you. God bless you all, and looking forward to seeing everybody. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the class. Thanks for being here. And thanks for being part of my life. God bless you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good night.
Night.